Hello! Right, normally I introduce what the hell this video is about, but you know what? You can read what this video is about. Share the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you don't know why, you'll know by the end of this video. Just fancied a change, to be honest, from the usual intro. So, if you watched the last episode, you'll know we beat Man City 1-0. Marco Piacca grabbing that goal. Morales got the assist. We then beat Newcastle 3-0 in the EFL Cup. We then beat Stoke 4-0. We then beat Krasnodar 4-0. We then put 4 past Cardiff. And it just looked like we'd completely burst into becoming phenomenal all of a sudden. And then it all came crashing down as you'd expect it to. We lost 3-2 to Newcastle. Newcastle played alright, to be fair. They had more shots on target than we did, as you can see. But I don't really think they deserved to win. I think we conceded some real sloppy goals, to be fully honest. And we were due a loss. And that was where it was. And funnily enough, the 2 losses we've encountered so far in the Premier League, both away from home this season, both 3-2 losses. Should we be surprised at the 2 strikers that kind of tore our defence apart like a hot knife through butter were Troy Deeney and Andrea Bellotti? Based on FM standards, probably not. And what's even worse is, despite all this green, we're still not top of the league. Arsenal have leapfrogged us based on goal difference, and it really does look like Arsenal are going to be putting up one hell of a fight this season to try and take the Premier League not just off our hands, but of course off the hands of Man United as well. Newcastle and Everton, kind of 2 surprising teams up there in and about that top 5, top 6 area as well, who could be challenging for it come the end of the season. But you know what? Let's not worry about the Premier League for now. This episode is all about playing Bayern Munich. Now, it's a bit of an awkward one, to be honest, because we've already qualified for the next stage of the Champions League. But obviously, if we top the group, it will mean that we get seeded against one of the teams that finished second in some other group. So, we're playing Bayern. Bayern are always a fun game to watch. We've already beat Bayern once. We beat them 1-0 in an earlier episode. So now we're going to the Allianz Arena. And hopefully it's going to be a fun game. I know that in the last episode we said we'd have a double episode where we play Arsenal and then Monaco. And then we got drawn against Arsenal in the EFL Cup quarter-final. So I'm actually just thinking, depending on the outcome of this Bayern game, deciding what approach we're going to take. If we can beat Bayern, that 100% guarantees us topping Group E, which then kind of makes the Monaco game obsolete. So then the next episode can then basically just be a double episode where we play Arsenal twice. Obviously, the Premier League game is going to be a much bigger game than the EFL Cup quarter-final game, but I don't think I've really shown you guys any of the EFL Cup yet this season, so it'd be nice to maybe fit it in there. If we lose against Bayern, suddenly there's a lot more importance on whether or not we win the Monaco game. So if that happens, we skip the EFL Cup game and we watch Arsenal-Monaco instead. Hallo, willkommen Allianz Arena. German. I can't speak German, as you can probably tell. So, here we are at the Allianz Arena. That probably made sense, that bit. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So, pretty much almost the same kind of Bayern that played us last time out. Not going to try and overthink it. In terms of away from home, we are, of course, playing a little bit more expansive with a little bit more width by utilising Augustinsson as a fullback. And Yang actually plays through the middle with Piacca on the left and Morales starts. Now, recently, Morales has just been playing a lot better than Marco Rog or Demirbay or some of our other central midfielders in that role. And even though he's young, it's not really surprising. And to be fair, if he's playing well with these attributes, then as far as I'm concerned, like, I just say just let him play. Because the more playtime he gets as a 19-year-old, the better he'll become. Because sometimes you bring these regens in and you want to rotate him around the squad, but you know, they're never quite good enough as opposed to some of the other players you've got, so you opt to tutor him instead. But this guy's been really delivering the business, to be honest. So, and he got the assist, of course, in our game against Man City in the last episode. So I think he deserves to play. Douglas plays in front of the back too. We're leaving Varjek as an IWB, which is kind of awkward, but we've got to be careful because of Kingsley Coman's pace, so I don't want Varjek venturing forward too much. And Augustinson on the other hand, I'm not really too worried about Thomas Müller. It's a 32-year-old Thomas Müller. But what's really phenomenal, I've just noticed now actually, is he has 145 caps for Germany. Doesn't matter who you are, right? Doesn't matter what country you play for. To have 145 appearances and 75 goals for your country is phenomenal. If he's not got some kind of statue in Munich, in this makeshift imaginary football manager world, to honour not just his services for Bayern Munich, but for Germany as well, based off that stat alone, then something's seriously wrong with our makeshift world. But here we go. Oh, yes, we should probably zoom in, shouldn't we? That always helps. Okay, so as always, we'll be doing some demanding of the more. Bernat is slightly more advanced than Badalovic. Badalovic, what's he doing in the middle? Right, fluid. Okay, they're going to swap around. Good tackle. Oh, for God's sake. Oh no. Oh. You know, this is kind of funny because we were going to sign Lewandowski and then a volcano decided to erupt. You know, back when Sam Allardyce was our manager in real life. Before we were taken over by a bunch of clueless chicken sellers. Fried chicken sellers. A.k.a. the Venkis, and Lewandowski's just scored in us. That really adds insult to injury. I mean, it was a first highlight, so it's kind of tough for us to really jump to too many conclusions. Bayern have had the better game so far. To be honest, I'd be happy with a draw coming out of this. A draw really would be enough. They're currently hot on our tail. They're in second place, aren't they? So they're the ones that want to try and nick first place from us. The good news for us, though, is whatever happens, we've qualified. And, yeah, even if we do end up finishing second, I think when the draw was made, knowing that Bayern and Monaco, there we go, knowing that Bayern and Monaco were both in our group, we'd have taken second place in that group, right? So, there we go. Alenya equalises the Spaniard, who's kind of becoming a bit of a Blackburn legend. I'm not going to lie. Been with us for quite some time, and it doesn't matter whether it's you know, a dead ball situation or scoring goals regularly. For a central midfielder, the number of goals and assists that Carlos Alenya's gotten for us over the years really does, in my opinion, make him a club legend. I mean, how old is he? He's only 23 as well. Been with us for quite some time. Probably wouldn't be a legend, really, let's be honest. Not a legend yet, but definitely an icon. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't an icon. I don't know why I'm looking at icons right now. He isn't an icon at the moment. Are any of our current players icons? No, but we got some favoured personnel going on, including myself, which is no surprise, really. The Blackburn fans love me. Okay, let's jump back straight in, and this isn't exactly the highlight that I wanted to jump straight back into, but Volkvist is going to get a head onto it. Varjek now, looking for a passing option, is going to hoof it forwards, and Kunz. Probably not the best of ideas to actually play Kunz against Bayern, given that Kunz is German himself, so I'm not going to accuse him of maybe being a bit biased towards his fellow compatriots. But here we go. Piaka tries passing to Ruben Neves for some reason. Morales, he's had quite a steady game. He played a part in our equalising goal. Kunz picks it up, finds Morales again. There's so much space for Varjek to run into as well. But he's on the IFB. I'm tempted, you know. Tempted to make him a fullback on support. Let's see. Can we grab a goal here? Alenya. Very narrow Bayern at the moment. And I do feel like maybe trying to see if we can get Varjek to overlap. It could give us a little bit of extra width. But you know what? They want to play narrow. So we cut through him in the middle. And Yang got that second goal there. So Blackburn Rovers 2. Bayern Munich 1. Never thought I'd hear the day when I'm saying that. But there we go. 30 minutes in, Blackburn 2, Bayern 1. And what's going to be important now at half-time is that we make sure that they don't get complacent. So this was why Varjek was made an IFB. We knew that was going to happen. Varjek got completely caught out there. He was probably listening to me. I mean, he ventured forward a fair bit. There was no way any of us were going to tackle or keep up with Kingsley Coman there. Varjek on a 6.4. I can't really say I'm surprised that his rating has dropped like that on the back of what's just happened. So, can't we tell the players I'm just not happy with what I've seen so far? Varjek, I'm actually going to make him fullback on support. Whoops. But, see, he's already told to mark tighter. I'm going to tell him to... Yeah, let's make him defend where he naturally holds position anyways. It would have been the exact same thing. I'm not going to tell him to specifically mark the... Am I? Because Bernat is also on that side, isn't he? So... I don't know, I just feel like he really does need extra protection. And maybe Matthias Kunz doing the man marking isn't exactly the player we need tracking back and really putting in that extra bit of legwork. So, we're going to actually make that man Niang. Right, as you can see, he's now man marking Coman, and up front, it's a case of whether we go with Gray or Barbosa. And naturally, it seems like Barbosa's the obvious option, but I feel like Andre would put himself about a little bit more. We're going with Barbosa. Morales on a yellow card. I'm kind of wary of the fact that he's young, so for that reason, Marco Rog also comes onto the pitch, and of course we will keep an eye out to see if Bayern Munich make any specific changes, but we're actually going to just try and tackle Bernat and Ruben Neves kind of hard, try and piss them off. Now, one thing I'm also wary of the fact that Bernat being on a yellow card, I could maybe move Barbosa out to the right hand side or move Nyang out to the right hand side just to try and get on Bernat's nerves as an inside forward and kind of force him into making a tackle he'll regret. But we won't overcomplicate things just yet. We're going to jump straight into the second half and leave things like that. But, you know, just running you guys through some of my thought process. Bayern have had more shots than we have, but we've had more on target. I think I may have just seen a change there. Piaka's gone down to 60 HP as well. 60 HP. What game am I playing? 60 stamina. And actually, he does have to come off, doesn't he? Okay, so Piaka's just going to come off because he's knackered. Barbosa, for me, is now going to go out on the right-hand side, and we're going to make him a inside forward on support. Make sure his man marking is still set to Kingsley Coman. Like I said, we're just going to try and frustrate Bernat, see if we can get him sent off. But with it being the 72nd minute, like literally no highlights, it's not going to make that much of a difference. I'll take a draw. I'm happy with a draw. I'm not going to try to overcomplicate things. We've got a tired squad. We've had a lot of games recently. A point, I think, guarantees us first place in the group, so I'm not really too fussed about that. Bayern themselves, they've been quite underwhelming, to say the least, in terms of what I've seen from Ancelotti. Like, in terms of changing the game around, in terms of changing things tactically, in terms of bringing different players on, we've not really seen that. And we didn't see that when we were 1-0 up in the first leg either. I don't think we've seen a single highlight this second half. Doesn't really bother me, though. Kind of disappointed because, in a way, I feel like Lewandowski's second goal, the equaliser at the end of the first half, was incredibly soft. And we probably could have easily, prevented it. But we are going to get the draw. It is going to guarantee us top of the group. Varjek should have kept up with Coman, but we weren't expected to go to the Airlines Arena and get anything. So, I'll be honest with the lads, everyone thought we'd get beat. Take a look at the group. We're on 13 points. There's one more game left to be played. Even if Bayern win that one, the most points they'll end up on is 11. So, on that note, knowing that we've just got the draw, it will, of course, mean that our next episode is going to be a double episode where we're going to play Arsenal twice. And Arsenal being a bogey team, gut feeling tells me it's probably going to be a bit of an entertaining episode. Unlike some of the recent episodes we've had, which have been 1-0 victories Or games like this one, where we see nothing for the entire second half. The FM gods aren't with us at the moment. But hopefully, guys, you're happy with the point. I most certainly am. And until next time, as always, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video. Goodbye.